Thank you for joining me for this special edition of the program. So, of course, we're going to talk about, obviously, President Biden ending his 2024 reelection bid, and he has endorsed Kamala Harris, VP Harris. So I'm glad about that. And I'm not happy with how we got here. Let me say that. It's unfortunate that they had to put the pressure on an old guy like this. But it appears that it was necessary. It appears that is what it really took. I guess additionally, him getting COVID and having time just to kind of sit back and reflect. But I'm not surprised. I wish that it happened last year. I wish that we were here last year. It would have definitely given us enough time to put something together that would have been smoother. But you don't always get what you want. You do not always get what you want. It is a very interesting situation that we're in. So I want to talk about Joe Biden. I want to talk about legacy. I want to talk about Kamala Harris, and who appears to be heading in the direction of getting the nomination. I want to talk about her. I want to talk about endorsements. And I want to talk about the future DNC convention. And this is going to be an interesting one. The DNC convention is going to be interesting. So does this mean that Trump's going to get elected? No, this does not mean that. It does not mean that at all. And in fact, I think that it makes chances better for Democrats. And we're going to talk about that. Of course, you want to join the show. You can do that very easily. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Twitch. We're on LinkedIn, all live right now. And, of course, I'm going to be reading comments as I can, as they come across the screen. So what do we have here? What we have is a president who has stepped down from the nomination quest, right? He's still going to be president. He is still going to be the president, at least for another 6 months. And so he released a statement, and this is under a lot of duress. This statement came out with a lot of pressure attached to it, right? This is not what he wanted to do, okay? Who in the world would want to step down from the most powerful office in the world? Not many. So this is coming from the desk of Joseph R. Biden Jr. It is dated July 21st, 2024. And he starts by saying, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to millions of veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today." So this is coming from the desk of the president. And he continued, and as it continued to unfold, I saw where it was going. The president continued by saying, "I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. All right. So he said that to set the stage. The president was trying to set the stage as to what was coming in this letter to the people. So now we get to the meat and potatoes. He talked about his record. And then he said, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on the fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. And I'm telling you, it was difficult for him to do this, but I commend him for doing it. The president continued, I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. And that is coming from Joe Biden. So he gets COVID. And I know some of the Republicans are going to say, oh, he doesn't have COVID or whatever. They're going to say a lot of different things. But he is laid up at home in Delaware trying to figure out what the next move is. He's been getting pressure from all over the Democratic Party. Folks wanting him to step down, and folks reading polls and anticipation and just the general lackluster response to Joe Biden. So that is what he's dealing with. In addition to the fact that we've seen him diminish, he's an older gentleman, so there's not a surprise there. There's no shame on that. But we are facing as a country a very difficult time. We are facing the prospect of a criminal politician returning to the office, a criminal politician who has laid out many things that he wants to do. We have the prospect of Donald Trump, who has vowed to be a dictator on day one. Serious situation here. And many folks like Joe Biden as a person. If Joe Biden was your neighbor, you would be happy. He's a cool guy, right? But what we are facing right now is the danger of Project 2025. And it is not a time where we can take chances like having an 81-year-old gentleman who is literally aging before our eyes. Now, we all have seniors in our families, and it is no knock on him, no knock at all. And of course, you have many folks that you get older, and you've dealt with them, and they'll say, I can do it, I can do this, I can do that, and no, grandma, let me get that for you, granddad, let me get that for you, and they want to do it, and you want them to be able to do it, but you need to help them and not let them put themselves in danger. And that's kind of what I saw with President Biden. That's kind of what I saw. And now we're at the point where many Democrats had been foreshadowing. They've been foreshadowing this. It is tough when our relatives get older. And I know folks in the Biden camp did not want to get here. Because here's the thing. Joe Biden's been trying to be president for a long time. He's been trying to be president for a long time. And now we're at the point where he's in the final lap of the presidency. No one looked at Joe Biden and said there's 4 more years there. No, 4 more strong years. Let me say that. I assume that he's going to live, obviously, longer than 4 more years. But is it fair to put on this gentleman, this older guy, this senior, the weight of the world? I think that by stepping back from the election, Joe Biden has probably extended his life. The stress of the office is immense. And I just think that it is time for the next generation to move forward in our effort to defeat the Republican forces with regards to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Project 2025. They are all intertwined. They are all intertwined. Now, I like a lot of things that they're doing, because you're going to hear in the next few days, you're going to hear a lot of folks in the Democratic Party supporting Joe Biden. They're going to be talking about his achievements. They're going to be talking about the things that he has done. And it's really going to be a time of legacy. They're going to be trying to build that legacy, maintain that legacy. And I like this image of Kamala and Joe Biden. And you had a lot of folks after that letter that I read that is from the president. Folks were saying, oh, he didn't endorse Kamala. Open convention is going to be, chaos and confusion. And after that, he made this post, and it says, my fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. So I like that. It was a strong endorsement. Now, here's the thing. President Biden did not expect to be here. President Biden's team did not expect to be here. So many folks are going to be confused as to how Kamala Harris has been portrayed over these almost 4 years. And this was done by design. You have 2 competing teams. You got the vice president's team and you got the president's team. And these teams are competing. There's friction there, right? You got one team that is supporting the vice president, and the vice president wants to be the president one day. And then you have, so they're saying, what can we do? Give us good stuff to do. How can we be represented? They want to set up the future. And then you have the president and his team, and especially a president in their first term. And they're saying, no, we need to keep the vice president away because it's like the quarterback and the backup, right? And both are trying to shine. And so there's friction. So the Biden folks gave Kamala the the not so glamorous stuff to do. Didn't want to portray her in the best light because they have a candidate in Joe Biden who was older. And if you make the vice president look so good, this is their mindset. You make the vice president look so good, and people are going to say, let's get Joe Biden out of there and let's get Harris in there, right? So they were trying to portray her in a bad light. And so you had that. And Joe Biden knows this. Why did he know this? Because it happened to him when he was vice president. Right? There was tension between the Obama team and the Biden team in the White House. Well, for the same reasons, because you want to try to keep them at arm's length as the president. That's the mindset. But now we get to a point where Kamala has been not shown in the best light. They give her the least popular thing to do. And this is vice presidents across the board. It's not just Kamala Harris. The relationship between president and vice president has always been rocky. There have been times where they've been from different parties, right? So in many instances, there was tension. But what happens behind the scenes is not supposed to come out. But sometimes it comes out. Sometimes you see it. You see evidence of it, right? Now, we have a situation where the vice president to some people does not seem like the best choice. She is the best choice considering where we are right now, meaning we are a couple weeks away from the Democratic National Convention, a couple weeks away. We're almost 100 days away from the election. It is not time to try to do something crazy, right? It's not time for a nationwide search for the presidential candidate. We don't have that kind of time. We are dealing with, as I said, a very, very dangerous, convicted felon, criminal president, and a vice president who is young enough and subservient enough and just crazy enough to want to push forth this MAGA agenda. The MAGA agenda, which is rooted in Project 2025. We don't have a lot of time. We got almost 100 days until the election, a few weeks until the Democratic National Convention. Democrats are not unified right now, and we need unity. Now, some folks don't like Kamala Harris for various reasons. What we need is a strong and capable Democrat, and VP Harris is best positioned. While she's not been allowed to make those big decisions, because I see some folks saying, what has the vice president done for us? The vice president is in a role where she is not in charge. She's in the room for a lot of conversations. She reads a lot of the memos. She knows a lot of the things that's going on, but she's not in charge. She was not in charge, right? She was not making the agenda. She was doing what she was asked to do as part of this executive team. Now, hopefully, she'll be in the position to get and control some of the agenda. Okay, and so that's where I sit with it. So you're going to have folks that say she's not qualified. You're going to have racist, sexist attacks against her, all kind of stuff. And we know that. So she's from California. And you have Gavin Newsom, right? You have Gavin Newsom as one of the folks that is, I don't know, in the running for VP. I don't think that any of these so-called top folks are going to challenge Kamala Harris. It's not enough time to put together a national run for the presidency. It's not enough time. Now, Kamala Harris has been part of the president's ticket, and she's best positioned for a lot of things because of the amount of time that we have. We do not have a lot of time. So here's what we need. So Kamala Harris doesn't need to pick just any person. And a lot of times folks are going to tell you, because some folks will say it doesn't matter who the vice president is. The people that are not supporters of Kamala Harris are going to say, vice president doesn't matter. Or they're going to say stupid stuff like, we don't need a coronation or something. She's a vice president. If Joe Biden, God forbid, died tomorrow, she would be the president. So for folks to say that people are not voting because of the vice president, yes, they are. One of the worst things that John McCain did was pick the running mate that he picked, right? That it affected things. It affected things. And so many folks are going to get on mainstream media and tell you all kind of stuff. They're also going to try to pick and prod and try to exacerbate the division in the Democratic Party. Instead of trying to unify, so-called mainstream left-leaning media are going to do the exact opposite and try to cause confusion, right? They're going to try to cause confusion in the Democrats. Right now, they need to be trying to unify, but they're not going to try to unify. They're going to try to cause confusion. And we have got to recognize and understand that that is going to happen. All right. It is very important who Kamala Harris picks as her VP. This is going to be one of the most important decisions that she makes. And if you listen to the statement that President Biden made about becoming the nominee and that whole road, he talked about and emphasized the importance of the VP decision. It's very important who Kamala Harris selects as her running mate. And I want to talk about that. Who should she select? Who you think? Who do you like out there? Right? Who do you like out there to help? And what does she need to look for in a person? She will be 60 years old this October, so she is definitely younger than Biden, and more importantly, she is younger than Donald Trump. So that whole he's too old thing out the window with Kamala Harris because she is, almost 20 years younger. So here's the thing about the Republicans. Republicans are like the dog that caught the car and now they don't know what to do. They were talking all this smack about Joe Biden being unfit, too old, and many Democrats picked up on that narrative. But now, Republicans, you got what you wanted. You have a younger candidate. You don't want Joe Biden. Now you got a younger candidate. Your whole age discussion is gone. Your whole age discussion is gone. And Kamala Harris is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. But what we have to do is select the right candidate for her partner. Who should she be partnering with? A lot of choices out there, a lot of things. I definitely think that it should not be Gavin Newsom. She doesn't need Gavin Newsom. But I do think that we are in America. We are in America. Why did I say that? We're in America, and this is a sexist place. This is a racist place. Republicans are going to tell you otherwise, but it is. Now, you got to me, as Kamala, she's got two schools of thought, right? While I would love for her to pick somebody like, say, Wes Moore, that is not going to work with the base that she needs to get. She more than likely needs to select someone who will be able to be identified with some of the white voters. More than likely, if I had to come up with a profile in my mind, it needs to be a white male, a younger white male. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. So we're going to see what happens, right? But I think that would be ideal for her. So who? So is this a governor? Is this someone that is currently in the administration? You got a lot of options here. A lot of options here. I think that obviously Pete Buttigieg is somebody that she's thinking about, right? He's a younger guy, he's a white guy, right? He can pull in some of the what's the word? Different factions around the country, right? He's currently the transportation secretary. So that's an option, right? Not the only option though. She's got a lot of choices. She got a lot of things, but she's got to make a decision, right? She's got to make a decision. So contenders. So you got Andy Beshear in Kentucky, and I think that he's a good choice as well. He is somebody who's been able to win as a Democrat in a very conservative state. I think that is definitely somebody that she needs to think about. We talked about Buttigieg. Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina, not as high on my list, but somebody, because she needs somebody that can appeal to the folks that she does not appeal to. That is the main purpose of your vice presidential pick. There's a lot going on here. We also talked about Governor Wes Moore, who is somebody who I like, but I don't think that helps the ticket. Not right now. Now, if in 2028, if Wes Moore wants to run and it's Wes Moore and someone else running in 2028, now that's pretty attractive. But right now, Kamala Harris and Wes Moore, I don't think is the best ticket for this country, being what it is. So we talked about Governor Gavin Newsom, who I like. Gavin Newsom. He's from California. She's from California. I don't think that he brings enough to the table. I don't think that he brings enough to the table. She already can get California. We need someone who can appeal to some of these other folks. So you have J.B. Pritzker in Illinois. He's the governor of Illinois. Okay, that's interesting. Josh Shapiro, who is the governor of Pennsylvania, who I think is the candidate she needs to select. I think she needs to select Governor Josh Shapiro, who is the governor of Pennsylvania. Now, also, a lot of folks talk about Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who is the governor of Michigan. Now, this is a little different, right? Just visualize with me for a moment. A Kamala Harris and a Gretchen Whitmer ticket, right? Doubling down on the girl power thing, right? You double down on the girl power thing, and you do this all-female ticket. You have a black, a biracial woman and a white woman, and a lot of ladies would be excited about that, right? But I think that it is too much of a chance right now, because you have some males in this country who are super chauvinistic and would not support that ticket. Or maybe they would, maybe they do it kicking and screaming. But I don't think that Gretchen Whitmer is going to run. Any of these folks, I don't see any of these folks challenging Kamala Harris, because if you do, and you're one of these folks, I think that you really damage. There's the potential damage to their career is there, because let's say that they damage Harris and cause us to lose. I mean, there's a lot that could go wrong there. I think that the winning ticket for Kamala Harris is Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Now, I also think that the Governor Andy Beshear of Kentucky is another attractive pick. So my choice is Shapiro, Beshear, Buttigieg, but in that order. That would be my hope. But we're going to see. Definitely let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show. So it is an interesting time. It is an interesting time because I don't think we've ever been here before. Who bows out of the race just at the, right at the start? I mean, we are almost there. And it is interesting. It is interesting. Another interesting fact that it is going to be the first presidential election in 48 years, they say, without a Bush, Biden, or Clinton. Let's think about that for a minute. Last 48 years, there has been a Bush, Biden, or Clinton in the running. Isn't that wild? That's not crazy. I think that's crazy. It's crazy. It's an amazing fact. But that's what it is. And so these so-called political dynasties taking a hit, taking a hit. Wow. So Biden has thrown his support behind VP Harris. I am happy about that. Now, we've been talking about one of the many things that makes Harris the right person for the circumstance that we are in, and that is money. That is money. So with regards to money, in order for you to run a presidential campaign, you need money, and a whole lot of it. Whole lot of it. So the president has thrown his support behind Kamala Harris. We're trying to avoid party chaos, and the Democrats got a lot of chaos that they're dealing with right now. A lot of chaos that they're dealing with right now. And so we have this money thing, meaning there is a question of, and some people want to know, what happens to the money that President Biden has already raised in this reelection campaign? What happens to the monies? Now, it's a little complicated, so we're gonna get into it. Now, according to a May finance report, President Biden has over $90 million in his campaign funds. $90 million. The only candidate who he could directly transfer that money to is VP Harris. She's part of the ticket. She helped raise the money. If the Democrats go with another candidate, then transferring the money would be tricky. Biden could move that money to the DNC, but the committee would be subject to FEC spending limits, which is just over $32 million for presidential candidates. And that's obviously not all the money that they have. So we need more monies, right? You need the monies. We are at the really at a critical point. He also could shift that money to a PAC, which is a political action committee, which would be capped at $5,000 donations to the campaign committees. But they would have unlimited spending power on running their own advertisements. And you've seen a lot of advertisements that are done by PACs, right? PACs are not allowed to collude with the campaigns in any way, shape, or form. So the PAC spending could be heavily scrutinized because they want to make sure that it is not the campaign making these moves. In short, the money Biden raised will not go to waste. But if the candidate is anyone but Kamala Harris, it's going to be hard to put all of it to good use. So we need to be able to utilize those monies in the correct way. So a lot of folks wondering why Kamala Harris, and she's not the strongest, and she laughs too much and all that kind of stuff. But I think that she's going to be a lot more serious now. And folks have been asking, is this the first time that a president has dropped out of the race after a primary? Right? Because here's the thing we always talk about. Lyndon Johnson saying, "I will not seek nor will I accept the nomination," said it back in the 60s, right? But has anybody after winning in the primary said, you know what, I can't do this? Joe Biden isn't the first incumbent president to abandon his campaign's reelection. Biden is, however, the first president to be pressured out of his reelection campaign out of concerns about his mental fitness. I think that because the danger of Trump and Vance and Project 2025, because it is so serious, the danger, they had to really lean on and put pressure on Joe Biden. It's unfortunate, and it's going to be remembered in a bad way that this happened like it did, but they had no choice. They didn't have any choice. It was a serious situation. So President Biden has ended his reelection bid. So I'm in Maryland, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about Maryland and what that means. According to Maryland's State Board of Elections, the 2024 calendar, ballots have yet to be certified and displayed on the board's website. That deadline comes on September the 3rd. So the deadline for a registered voter to seek judicial review of a ballot printing error is September 4th. The deadlines for a registered voter to seek judicial review of content and arrangement of a ballot is September the 5th. Then come September 6th, the state board can start printing ballots and correct noted errors. So the ballots have not been printed yet is the short version of that, right? Mail-in ballots will start to be sent out on September the 21st. So we're okay with regards to that. Now comes the dirt, right? The dirt. What do I mean? Now we get to a part where it's not going to be pretty. It is not going to be pretty. And now that Biden has dropped out of the race, Trump and his supporters are going to start focusing negative ads, a lot more negative talk against Kamala Harris. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be sexist. They're going to be racist things, dog whistles said, meaning you hear the terminology dog whistles a lot, right? And dog whistles means they're saying they're saying it, but they're not really saying it, right? My mother used to call it beating around the bush. They're going to be doing that. There are going to be a lot of talk about some Democrats challenging her. You have some of these rising star Democrats who I hope do not challenge her. But you have Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro have quickly endorsed Harris for president. And some others are not saying too much, right? So you have that. There's going to be negative things said, right? They may say something to the effect of, we can't have a candidate like her or somebody like her as the president. Whenever they say something like that, they trying to be slick with the insult, not really coming out and saying it. So it is going to get ugly. It is going to get ugly, and we need to be prepared for that. President Obama has endorsed an open nominating process. The Clintons have endorsed Harris. So that's good. I don't know why President Obama is waiting. The Obamas are good friends with VP Harris. They work together a lot on a lot of different things. Obama has not endorsed as of yet. I hope that he does it. And, Obama has a tendency of, he's real smooth. So he want to come in at the end sometimes and then put the close the door, so to speak. But President Obama says that I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. He did not mention Vice President Harris. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of a generous, prosperous, and united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. Isn't he smooth? He's so smooth. The Democratic National Convention starts in August 19th in Chicago, and definitely looking forward to that. Now, and I've been seeing this online, so let's put this out there. Michelle Obama is not interested in getting back in the White House. She is not going to run. She's not going to do anything like that, nor should she. She's been through that with her husband for 8 years, and she don't want that. It's not where she wants to go. And she's not going to try to split the party by running. She's not going to be the vice presidential candidate. So as much as I love Michelle Obama, she is not, nor should she get involved in this. She's not going to be the vice presidential pick. She's not going to be the presidential candidate. She is not interested in that, nor should she be. But a lot of folks, she is a beloved character. She should not get involved. She's not going to get involved. Who's some other crazy ones? Oprah. Oprah's not going to be involved. She's not going to, let me say involved. She may support Kamala Harris, but she's not going to run Oprah, nor should she. So I just want folks to be prepared for the messiness that is coming up. I want folks to be prepared for the drama that is going to be thrown around. Kamala Harris should be the nominee. And if she has to go to the Democratic National Convention and fight for it and emerge as the strongest candidate, then that's fine. And she seems prepared to do that. Absolutely. This seems like a TV show, right? This seems like a TV show, and it is amazing. Who could call it? I'm glad that we are alive during this time. This is a wild thing. 59-year-old Kamala Harris, who is a very accomplished prosecutor, is going to be more effective at prosecuting the case against Donald Trump to the American people, much better than Joe Biden could do at this point. So Joe Biden graciously has passed the torch to the next generation of leaders, and that is Kamala Harris and whoever else she selects as her partner. It is, for anyone who is wondering my thoughts, it is Kamala Harris or bust. Kamala Harris is America's hope. Now, you may like that. You may not like that. But it is not, nothing's perfect. Nothing is perfect. So let me see. What are you saying? Do I think anyone will oppose her? Will anyone oppose Kamala Harris? Hopefully, no. I don't think anybody with a political future is going to oppose her. It doesn't make sense. They don't have the finances. They don't have the name recognition. They don't have the time. She has too many things working in her favor for that. So it does not make sense. And there are a lot of folks who would be the beneficiaries of a successful Kamala Harris run. And some of those folks are people that want to be president in the future. So I hope that nobody of note, somebody like D's nuts or somebody like that, somebody crazy, like some kind of a silly campaign may come forward, but no one with the future. So it's not going to be anybody that makes sense. They definitely forced Biden into this position. Now, some are going to say, Nancy Pelosi, she is from Baltimore, right? Nancy Pelosi, the Obamas, folks like that are going to say they did this for the benefit of America. And they did this for the American people. And that's true. And sometimes tough things have to be done. Sometimes tough decisions have to be made. And while it's unfortunate, but tough decisions have to be made. And so, but I don't want folks to think for a minute that President Biden is not sick. There's obviously something going on. I'm sure that health was one of the factors. So he had pressure from the Democrat Party. He had pressure from Democratic donors, the big donors. There also was a factor of his health. I'm sure that his health was a factor in this decision. So I'm sure that as time has come, as time continues to go, people are going to see and hear that his health played a major part in this. I definitely, again, want to commend President Biden. This is an example. You talk about patriots. This is an example of patriotism. This is what it means when someone puts their country first. This is an example of that. And so, that is, it's a great thing. And, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. So we have the opportunity to be a part of what they call history. And you hear people say all the time, this is the most important election. That is the most important election. This is the most important election, hands down. And so Kamala Harris is the best choice, considering where we are right now. And she has my support. And there are a lot of folks that are going to be energized. One thing we can say about Biden, folks were never excited for Biden. They didn't want Trump, but they weren't excited for Biden. You are going to see folks that are excited about Kamala Harris, whether they are excited about the prospect, the possibility, that people are going to be excited about her. Now, some people don't like her, and that's with anybody. But people are going to be excited about her and the probability, and they feel that we have a chance. We have a chance. With Joe Biden, it was going to be a nail biter. Maybe he was going to win. Maybe he wasn't. My thing was always a 50-50 shot. He had a 50-50 shot. And as the incumbent president, for him to only have a 50-50 shot against a convicted felon is really bad. It is really, really bad. So now here we are. We have a prosecutor who is going up against a convicted felon. Oh, yeah. You couldn't have wrote it any better than that. She's going to be able to make the case. She's going to be able to make the case against the convicted felon. And here's the thing. Let's not act like Donald Trump is the healthiest guy in the world. Let's not act like Donald Trump is not crazy and has diminished considerably since we saw him come down the escalators nearly 10 years ago. He is and has been diminished. He is crazy. He is a lot of things. And Kamala Harris is going to be able to make the case. I'll be back here tomorrow, of course, 6 p.m. For the Diamond K Show. Of course, need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Looking forward to that. On Tuesday, we're going to have a new edition of the His and Hers Show. And we have some other announcements coming with regards to some new programs. I'm very excited about that. And, of course, on Apple and Spotify, you can stream the Diamond K Show. Advertisers, you can advertise your product, service, or event with us. Visit onfire-tv.com for more information on that. And Baltimore Lean Show will also be back on Friday. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. It is a crazy time. Always, you can check out episodes of our shows on fire-tv.com/watch. Also on Facebook, We stream there as well on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitch, on LinkedIn, on X. We are streaming. So Ty says that I am annoyed and fear for your safety. How do you All right, fine. All right, so I'll be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. with another edition of the show. And, of course, onfire-tv.com/join. Great place to go. You never scared. Oh, he's never scared. Okay, so Ty says, no, we don't have good pickings in America. This is a joke right now. All right, here's the thing. Folks that complain about the people that run for office should run themselves. All right. If you don't like the picks, if you don't like the selections, then go ahead and run. Get involved in the process. But I think that a lot of folks are going to be paying attention because it's real right now. It is real. You know how I say it's real in the field? It is real in the field right now. And so it's a great time to be alive. And we're going to be talking about it, breaking things down. Some people are going to be mad. Some people are not. I'm going to bring some folks on the show that agree with me sometimes, and some folks that don't agree with me with regards to politics. I want to talk to everybody, and definitely djdiamondk@gmail.com, or definitely in the comment section. And I read all comments. So we'll be back here tomorrow, as I said, with another edition of the show. Stay tuned, and see you guys tomorrow.
Who's running this club? Diamond K.